Okay, let's go ahead and get started today. My name is Steve Hatch. I'm the presenter of today's webinar. And today's topic is on developing site content. You may have heard the term before, content is king, and that is especially applicable on websites. We want to make sure that our site has good, useful content, not only that's good for the end user, for the reader or the viewer of the website, but also for search engines. A very large part of SEO or search engine optimization involves developing good, useful content for the website, which kind of tells the search engines what your website is about. It shows that you have unique, fresh content posted on the website, and this will be one of the factors that helps your website rank high on Google. And so for today's presentation, I'm going to be using this website, Rocky Mountain ATV, as an example. They have a really good selection of ATV motorcycle gear products, and I'm just using them as an example of what you want to have on a website as far as content and certain content pages. So once you've settled on the preliminary design, it's time to start looking at the actual content that you're going to be putting on the website. What content do you think you'll need? How much content is too much? How much is too little? If you get too sparse, you run into the chance of kind of looking amateurish or just barely established. So start with the basics, and then you want to branch out from there. Nearly every website obviously has a home page. It's the first page people typically see when coming to your website. It will also have an About Us page, a Contact Us page, a Frequently Asked Questions page, a Policies page, and a sitemap. And then, of course, it will have product and category pages or catalog pages. So let's start with the product or catalog pages. When it comes to catalog pages, it's best to break the products into relevant categories. After all, when thinking about products, most of us think in categories or like-kind groups of products. So you want to start brainstorming categories for your products and then make sure they're grouped accordingly. Here on Rocky Mountain ATV, obviously, they have their categories clearly listed at the top of the page, and then they break down from there. Let's say if we wanted to click on ATV, from there we're going to have subcategories within ATV. So you want your site to be easy to navigate. You want it to be as easy as possible for people to navigate and move through the website. The navigation menu or the hierarchy of your navigation menu needs to be simple and logical. The more you can put your like products or your like categories together, the more likely you'll anticipate the way your prospective customers think, and you can anticipate ways of promoting and then enticing them to buy. So on catalog pages, you want to have an introductory paragraph, usually at the top of each category page. And this is kind of referred to as glamour text. So here on Rocky Mountain ATV, they don't really have a paragraph. They have a nice promotional banner for each category. So let's even get a little bit more specific. Let's do men's riding gear. Again, they do have the banner here at the top, but then at the bottom, here it is, men's ATV riding gear. They have a nice couple paragraphs of text. And this is extremely important. This is useful for SEO. This also helps entice the buyer, but we can plug keywords into this text to help kind of show what our website is about. And again, this will be one of the factors that helps us rank high on Google. It's really important not to have too many products per page. If you have hundreds or maybe even thousands of products on a particular category page, you'll find that that's just too many, and you stand the chance of your customers missing some of what you're selling. So it's better to split your categories maybe up into subcategories that will help them be able to more easily navigate your website and more easily find what they're specifically looking for. Shoppers nowadays tend to be a lot more specific when they're doing searches and when they're navigating websites. So if anything, break your products up into subcategories instead of having just categories that have hundreds or thousands of products on them. The next page we want to talk about is the About Us page. So let me pull up Rocky Mountain ATV's About Us page. The purpose of this page is to provide really compelling background information on your company because you want to gain your prospective customers' trust. Remember, it's not so much about you, it's about your company. So don't talk at length about biographical information. Sure, you can have a message from the president or the owner, or a little bit about your personal story as part of the marketing message, but be sure it's actually compelling for a stranger or for someone who doesn't know you. So for example, if you sell, let's say, health products, and your sellable difference is that you were extremely allergic to high processed, artificially scented, manufactured or preserved products, and you spent 2 decades searching for products that wouldn't make you sick, well, then including a personal autobiographical information could be really compelling for you. In this case, you may be your own personal brand, but this becomes even more likely if you're selling information, ideas, theories, or methods that you personally discovered and have proven to work from your own experience and observation. So in this case, you are the brand, and you are sharing the high quality, relevant content about yourself on the About Us page. But if that's not the case, then you want to provide information on the actual company itself. So if you run out of things to say on your About Us page, things maybe like corporate history, having a mission statement would typically go on the About Us page, maybe a philosophy or your, why your company is in business, maybe expand on referencing your products, your quality, exclusivity, or even guarantees about how these products can last. Talk about maybe the benefits of these products and how it can impact the lives of potential customers. Whatever you do, don't scrimp on this page. By all means, it should not be short. It should be at least be 3 to 4 paragraphs of text. This is just, again, one of those really important, really imperative pages every website needs to have. It just helps you build the overall credibility of your site. The next page that's useful for content would be your Contact Us page. So let me pull up Rocky Mountain's Contact Us page. So your Contact Us page can often be the most important page on your website, especially if you are using your website as a lead generation tool. Now, for most of our clients who are doing e-commerce, that's not typically the case. But if you are doing maybe like affiliate marketing or a pay-per-lead type system, this can be very, very useful. So you want to try to grab the clients and get them to fill out a form if you were doing an informational site. With an e-commerce site, the Contact Us page should start with a good introductory paragraph that kind of encourages them to contact you. We want to make it easy for them to get a hold of us. It shouldn't feel like a hard sell, so to speak. Rather, you should make them feel as if there's no obligation for them to be able to contact you. You want them to feel like they would love to speak with you and that you would love to help them out. And it is vitally important that you give them more than one way to contact you. So give them at least 2 different ways, such as a telephone number and an email address. In the case of email, be sure your contact is something like support@yourdomainname.com. It's a professional email that's associated with your domain name. If it's like a Hotmail, Yahoo, or Gmail, it really can affect the credibility of your business. So if you don't already have one, make sure your email is set up under your domain name, or at least forwards to an email that, maybe a personal email. So you're going to look too much like a single employee or a small business operation if you use like a Gmail, Yahoo, or Hotmail address. Make sure you're going off your domain name. So through the Volusion Web Builder, you can easily set that up, and that's something your coach can help you with as well. Next, let's talk about kind of a form or what the form should look like on the Contact Us page. So it just needs to be a simple form for people to fill out and be able to send. In this case, it doesn't look like Rocky Mountain ATV has one, but there are tons of examples out there of websites that will set up a form, and you can set up a form through Volusion as well. As far as the form, you just want to keep it simple. The simpler the page, the more likely people will be to fill it out. If you demand too much information on the form, people are just going to they might turn away from it, and they may not feel compelled to contact you. So keep it simple. Some of the basic information you'll want to have in the form would be first and last name, if there's an applicable order number, if they've ordered from you, the phone number, email address, and then maybe like a comments box or a comment area. So you may want, on the other hand, you may want potential inquiries to self-select and to only try to contact you if they're seriously considering your product or service. So, if you don't have the time to be able to answer those questions, maybe just listing an email and a phone number would be better than having an actual form. But I would encourage my clients and most everyone who's doing e-commerce to have a form if possible. So kind of going back to the e-commerce site or kind of a home-based business, your website is kind of your storefront. You don't have a brick and mortar store to kind of display your company and kind of what you do. So you want to have eventually a dedicated landline or a phone number set up for the business. Ideally, it would be good to have a toll-free 1-800 number. There are many different services out there that are fairly inexpensive. Sometimes less than $10 a month. You can find services where you can set up a toll-free number. But even if it's not a toll-free number, there are free services out there like a Skype or a Google Voice option, which isn't the most ideal, but it's free. And that number is there for you to answer at your own time and at your own convenience. At least having a voicemail option where a customer can leave a voicemail where you can get back in touch with them would be recommended. Again, having a number really does go a long way. And it really will actually help with your ranking on Google and at local SEO. One of the big factors that Google will look at for local SEO is if the company has a listed phone number. So if there's a listed phone number on your website, that will be something that actually does help you rank higher. So next page we want to talk about as far as content is concerned is the home page. Again, can't stress enough, the home page is by far the most important page of the website, and there are certain things you absolutely want to make sure you have on it. So your home page is like a storefront window, so to speak. If people don't like what they see on that home page, they may never even navigate further into your website. So they may not come into the actual store if you were a brick and mortar store. So you want to dress up this window, so to speak, and make it appealing, full of promise with just a little mystery. You don't want to give everything away on the home page. So one way to start is with a good attention-grabbing headline. And you typically see this, at the top of the text, the first line of text, or in the ad or the promotional banner that most websites will have at the top of the site. So this attention-grabbing headline a lot of times will be positioned next to what's called a hero shot or an emotional image. And this image is an image that usually depicts someone enjoying or benefiting from the product and or services that you provide. So it's just a picture of a person. In this case with Rocky Mountain ATV, it may be a picture of a guy on a dirt bike just having the time of his life with a big smile on his face. So this emotional image, it creates an emotional connection and helps stimulate the dream in the mind and the heart of the prospective customer. So while it may seem kind of overt and obvious, customers expect to see happy people enjoying a product. You're not going to have pictures of people, thinking, man, this product is horrible. You don't see that. There aren't stock photography images of people not enjoying products. Well, there are, but not for specific websites. So your homepage should also have some sample products. You should mention any sales or promotions. Again, just to show that you have something to sell. It just kind of gives them that little peek into what they have, which will allow them to navigate deeper into your website. So again, Rocky Mountain ATV does a really good example of this. They have a very, I don't want to say complex, a very intricate ad banner that kind of displays some of their different categories and some of their different promotions that they're currently running. And then below that, you can easily navigate their website through the top and through the left navigation menu. And then they have some picks, top picks, and then brand indexing. I mean, they have a very, very intricate, very detailed website. And yours initially isn't going to look this way. But eventually, as you continue to maybe add more products, and as you continue to make your website easier to navigate, you'll want to have things like this in place. So in addition to having good content on the homepage, your homepage should also have keyword and or keyword phrases that you're trying to target and that you're trying to market. So in order to prepare your content for good optimization, you should include 3 most important keyword phrases in the text of your homepage. And a lot of times, kind of back in the day, it would be recommended to just stuff those keywords into the text, stuff them as much as possible. And search engines have kind of picked up on that. In the recent algorithm changes, it's not so much important. In fact, you can actually get penalized if you overdo it. So you do want to include these keywords into the text of your homepage, but make it sound natural. Don't overdo it. And these keywords, again, are just things that are in place to help the search engines recognize what your website is about, and it will be one of the factors that helps you rank high on Google and, of course, all the other major search engines. So this keyword rule applies to all the pages of your website, not just the home page, but the home page is by far the most important page that you want to make sure you have these keywords inserted in the text. In addition to the home page, the next most important pages would probably be your subpages that we've been talking about today, and then, of course, product pages. So this will make marketing your website so much easier. When you get more hits, the search engines will rank you higher, and then you'll have the best potential to be able to reach your target audiences. So kind of continuing along with the home page, let's talk about the fold. Let me show you what the fold is. You'll hear this term a lot. It's actually a term that originally applied to newspapers. You know how when you're viewing a newspaper is folded up. And when you originally view the top part of the website or the newspaper, you have to flip it over because there's a fold. There's an actual crease in the paper where you have to flip over to view the rest of the story that you're reading. Well, it's kind of the same thing with websites. The fold is everything you see on the site at the top of the page before you have to start scrolling down. So there are certain things we want to make sure we have above the fold to be able to show our customers. And you know, keep in mind we have a very limited amount of time to be able to capture our potential buyers' attention. And so there's certain criteria, there's certain things we need to have on that page above the fold to help capture their attention. Number one, and most important, is any type of promotional marketing material or ad banners. And again, Rocky Mountain ATV has a really good example of this. They immediately capture our attention with their scrolling ad banner, just kind of showing deals, showing promotions, showing discounts, and then showing, of course, a selection of their products. Any type of like free shipping, if you offer that, mention it above the fold. They do a really good job of it here. Free 3-day shipping on orders over $99. So if you have some type of promotion like that, make sure it's mentioned usually in the header. Contact information, just basic contact information, is also good to display above the fold. So here we have order online or call. They have a phone number where you can call to order. And again, with an initial smaller e-commerce website, you may not want to list a phone number because you're not going to want to have to handle phone orders all day as you're initially launching the site. You may just want to have that on your contact us page, but at least an email address would be recommended to have somewhere on the page above the fold. And then lastly, product imagery. And this could be labeled as like featured products. You could call it new arrivals. You could call it best sellers, top picks. But having some type of selection or sample of the products that you carry just kind of gives the viewer an idea of what your website sells, just so that they go, okay, this website sells ATV products and apparel and accessories. Just first glance looking at the site before they have to navigate deeper into the site. By doing this, it's going to help with your conversion rate. It's also going to help with your bounce rate. The bounce rate, for those who aren't familiar with that, is just kind of calculated by how long people are staying on your website for. And so the longer they stay on a site, the better for you. It increases your bounce rate, and that's a good thing. So that's kind of everything you need to look for in the fold, or what you need to have above the fold. So next, let's move on to the FAQ page, or frequently asked questions. Another great page for content. Now, as you originally launch your website, you're not going to have frequently asked questions because you're brand new and you're just launching. However, later on, as you continue to grow and as you start answering some of these questions, you may find it beneficial to have a page where people can easily go to find answers to questions. So these types of questions could be questions about individual products. It could be about the process, like maybe the ordering process on your website. It could also have to do with your policies, your shipping policies, return policies. All of this information should be typically applied on the FAQ, or the frequently asked questions page. So one thing you may want to consider doing is, if you're using a supplier like a drop shipper or a wholesaler, you may want to see if you're allowed to use their FAQ questions. And a lot of times they're more than okay with that. Obviously, you want to make sure it is applicable to your website, but if they have FAQ, frequently asked questions, that you can use, this can help you initially set up that page and have some initial content to be able to display on this page. Again, just by having a simple FAQ page just adds to the overall credibility of your business. It makes it look like you've been around for a while and you're not a brand new startup. And again, it's just one of those things that helps people stay on your website for a longer period of time and helps increase your conversion rate. Going along with FAQ, let's talk about policies. So policies, a lot of times you may find questions to that in the FAQ page, but it's also good to have like a terms and policies page on the website that goes over all of the policies on your site. And this is obviously good because it covers your back in case you have to deal with returns. People need to know exactly what shipping courier you will be using, what type of freight you charge. So it's a good thing to have. Here's Rocky Mountain ATV's terms and policies page. So again, you want to have a return policy on there, instructions on how to handle a return. If you offer any manufacturer warranties, you can list those. If you want to comment on your pricing, if there are any shipping restrictions, like where you are willing to ship to, maybe where you're not willing to ship to, and then of course shipping policy. What's your shipping policy? In this case, free shipping on orders over $99. So there are a lot of places online where you can go to construct a very simple privacy policy page. Privacy policy is a little bit different. Privacy policy is just basically saying that you're not going to take people's information and then resell or redistribute it for your gain. So there are many different sites out there where you can go to construct a very simple privacy policy page. You can even try Googling it, like how to set up privacy policy. And there are websites that help you generate privacy policy for your specific site. But a lot of the times that information is just really basic. It's almost like legal jargon, but it is a good thing to have. It just essentially says that you're not going to take people's information and distribute it. Going along with policies, if you have any guarantees, as I mentioned earlier, it's good to list that maybe on your policies page, or maybe you even have a guarantee page. Some sites will have those. In this case, I am not seeing one here on Rocky Mountain ATV, but it is a good thing to have if your supplier, if your wholesaler offers that. Going along with policies, one thing I didn't mention would be a cancellation policy. So your cancellation policy can be a concern for some people. So just how long will you give customers a chance to cancel their orders? Is it 1 or 2 days? That's pretty standard. Many merchant account providers will require you to have a cancellation policy listed on your website. So it's a good thing to have. Some sites will have like a 3-day or more, what's called a right of rescission, that allows customers in state to return something within 72 hours of purchasing it, in case they change their minds or whatever. So it's up to you to do the research and find out how much time you need to allow. if that is the case, you can always state that there is a limit of 24 hours unless specifically stated otherwise in the laws of whatever state your business is located in. Another useful thing a website needs to have is what's called a sitemap. And a sitemap is just a list of links to all the main pages in your website. And it generally serves two purposes. Number one, it is an index for visitors to find their way around the website. But number two, and probably more importantly, it enables search engines to be able to index all of your main pages. So here is Rocky Mountain ATV's sitemap. And as you can see, it just has a list of all of their different categories where you can scroll down, and you can even click on those pages to take you to those specific pages. They're clickable links. So a sitemap is definitely something you want to have. And then the last thing I want to go over today are any miscellaneous pages. So as you conduct your research, you'll often find ideas for pages that will be perfect for your functionality. So for example, you may want to have a blog associated with your product-based website, really to kind of enhance readership. This will also help with optimization and traffic. So you may look for what are called RSS feeds, or you might consider linking to articles, guides, and reviews at larger, best ranked sites to give yourself a better ranking. So my best advice here for these miscellaneous pages would be to just look at your competition, kind of see what they offer, see what their website is about, see what subpages or miscellaneous pages they have. And the idea here is not to copy them word for word. The idea is to kind of see what they're using and see what would help you and what would benefit you. But again, by having these subpages, by having this additional content, it's just really going to be one of those things that helps your website rank higher on Google. It's going to help you get more traffic to your site, and in turn get more sales. And that's what we're all shooting for, is getting as many sales as possible to the website. So that kind of covers our information for today. We'll take the last couple of minutes here and kind of open it up for any questions, if anybody has any questions. After about a minute or two, if we don't have any questions, we'll then go ahead and end the presentation. All right, I'm not seeing any questions today, so it looks like everyone's good to go, hopefully. If you do, and you have any questions about content or what to put on your site, don't hesitate to get in touch with your coach, and they can help explain kind of the additional content, additional pages you want to make sure you have on your website. So thanks everyone for coming out today, and I wish you the best of luck as you develop content for your website. Thanks everyone, have a great day.